This is Candor Talk. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get right into the show. But before we get into the show, don't forget to check out our website, sylviaexpress.com.
What's up, fabulous people? Okay, kindly indulge me for a moment. Now, I and many other liberals are getting threats from Trump's deranged sycophants. Therefore, before I start the show, I need a moment with these deranged bastards. To the Trumpians, the sycophants, the robots, cowardly emasculated men, and yes, I called you emasculated. I've pulled out my microscope and it can't even confirm that you are a man. My microscope looked at me and was literally like, dog. I looked and it's still to be determined. Okay? So therefore don't think for 1 second I'm scared of the microscopic man, or shall I say men, because so many of you are emasculated. You guys have been bullying liberals for decades because the older generation of liberals presumed kindness was the cure. FYI, I'm not the older generation. I won't be kind to you. Furthermore, I don't do violence. I only believe violence is necessary in self-defense. My mind is my biggest weapon and my backbone. My backbone should be studied after I die because it's so fierce that it can't even be scratched. Hence, you met your match in me. Threats don't scare me. I'm too logical of a person. I know that the only thing in life that's guaranteed is death. Death has never scared me. So don't fucking threaten me. If you think by flagging my channel so that you can demonetize it. By the way, guys, if you're listening to this channel, I have a link in below, and you can also donate to the channel. I'm sure that'll piss off the Trumpians. But anyway, if you think that you can demonetize my channel or send me threats and that'll stop me from talking about the imposter, squatter, soon to be evictee in the White House, let me just reiterate my feelings about the dumbest man in the history of politics. The fraud they allege is the President of the United States is the most incompetent buffoon in the history of world politics. Not just U.S. history. I'm talking about world history. He's deranged, unhinged, inhumane, criminal, unsophisticated, inept, insecure, pathetic, and a pathological liar. Would you like me to reiterate everything I just said? Because I know that your little stomach can't handle your dear leader being dragged. I intend to continue to drag him. The truth about you guys is that you are cowards, unmitigated, miserable cowards. You don't even scare my toenail on my right foot, smallest toe. To be clear, I'm a lawyer. Don't threaten me. Don't threaten any liberal, Democrat, progressive, or anti-Trump, Republican, or independent, anti-Trumpy person ever fucking again. Don't ever fucking threaten a single solitary soul ever again. Now you can sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up and listen to me drag the imposter in the White House, or you can respectfully get the fuck out of here. Those are your two options. I'm not giving you a third. Who did they tell you I was? Sincerely, who did they tell you I was? Sorry, sycophants, you have the wrong person. Don't threaten me, don't threaten Maxine-Waters, don't threaten any other Democrat, don't threaten anybody, you punks. Anyway, guys, how you doing on this wonderful Saturday? I hope all is well. I had to get that off my chest because I want to make sure they don't get me mistaken for some punk somewhere. That's what I think they have going on with them, and that's why they think they can do some stupid stuff. But let me just remind them, I'm the wrong person. I'm not that. I'm not that person whose backbone is a jellyfish. Okay. Anyway, so it's not good for Trump because he doesn't know his own limitations. That's one of the biggest problems with Trump, is he doesn't know his own limitations. And I can just definitely say this. Power is intoxicating. But we're not talking, this is a different breed of intoxication. All right. He believes that his power transcends all and that he is capable of doing anything that he wants to. But he's getting dealt a real blow of reality. He decided to start fighting his biggest supporters, the Harley-Davidson crew. He believes that if you don't show unwavering loyalty to him, that he can crush you. So he decides to go after Harley-Davidson, the first major brand to openly support him. Here's what happened.
President Donald Trump set his sights on Harley-Davidson in a round of Twitter attacks on Tuesday, saying the iconic motorcycle company will be taxed like never before. It follows a proposed plan by Harley-Davidson to move some of its production overseas. The EU raised an existing tariff it had on the company's motorcycles by almost 5 times in retaliation for the U.S.'s tariffs on EU aluminum and steel. Harley-Davidson says it would lose about $2,200 for each bike it exported and a total of up to $100 million a year due to the hike. But Trump says the tariffs are just an excuse and that the company had existing plans to move. Either way, moving some production overseas looks like it may be in Harley-Davidson's best interest. Its last quarter sales fell by 12% in the U.S., but grew by about 7% in multiple continents, including Europe. The rift is particularly notable because Harley-Davidson has traditionally had strong support within the GOP. Trump himself once said Harley-Davidson is a true American icon, one of the greats.
Okay, and then he takes it further and literally, basically threatens them. Here it is.
Harley-Davidson, please build those beautiful motorcycles in the USA, please, okay? Don't get cute with us. Don't get cute. They don't realize the taxes are coming way down. They don't realize that yet.
Don't get cute with us? Like, who are you? Like Kim Jong-un? But anyway, here's why this is important. Disloyalty is a disease. It spreads and people don't like getting infected. Trump has backstabbed everyone that put their neck and reputation on the line to support him. He appointed Rosenstein and Wray, both Republicans. Now they're traitors and backstabbers and liars. He appointed Jeff Sessions, the first senator to support him. Now Sessions is the Mr. Magoo, which I believe he's Mr. Magoo, but let me move on from there. He also believes that Sessions should be fired. He's humiliated Sessions for over a year now. Manafort, who he made his campaign manager, is now a guy he was just around for a very short amount of time. Very, 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 very short. Just a little. He barely knew it. Michael-Cohen, his lawyer for over 12 years. Right? His lawyer for over 12 years. Trump tells you that he simply just handed a little bit of his legal work. Just a tiny bit. Then he fires him on live TV. No notice, no warning. I can go on and on and on. However, messing with Harley-Davidson has pissed off even the spineless Republicans in Congress. This is the thing. Did the imposter literally believe millions, except the flailing maybe bikers for Trump, are going to throw away their bikes because Trump needed a diaper change? Even Fox News blamed him for this. Here's Fox News.
The president has gotten angry at some companies that have shifted production from the U.S. to overseas, but it's going to be hard for him to get mad at Harley-Davidson. That's because the steel and aluminum tariffs that he imposed has jacked up the price of raw materials for Harley, and then the retaliation from Europe has jacked up the tariff on Harley-Davidson's made in the U.S. and sold in Europe from 6 to 31%. That has increased the price of a Harley in Europe on the average about $2,000 or maybe even a little more than $2,000 a motorcycle.
Okay, so he's sitting there trying to go to war with Harley-Davidson, which that's not really my problem, but it is his problem. Okay? And then in addition to that, there is a revolt now from Trump appointees in the DOJ and the FBI. Even Rod-Rosenstein had enough. He gave it right back to the fake Republicans in the GOP who were trying to protect Trump. He humiliated Jim Jordan epically. I mean, epically. You gotta hear it. Here it is.
Mr. Rosenstein, did you threaten staffers on the House Intelligence Committee? Media reports indicate you did.
Media reports are mistaken.
Sometimes. But this is what they said. Having the nation's #1 law enforcement officer threaten to subpoena your calls and emails is downright chilling. Did you threaten to subpoena their calls and emails?
No, sir, and there's no way to subpoena phone calls.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm reading what the press said.
I would suggest that you not rely on what the press says, sir.
Well, I didn't ask if there's no way to do it. I asked if you said it.
If I said what?
What I just read you.
No, I did not.
Well, now, who are we supposed to believe? Staff members who we've worked with, who've never misled us, or you guys, who we've caught hiding information from us, who tell a witness not to answer our questions? Who are we supposed to believe?
Thank you for making clear it's not personal, Mr. Jordan.
Well, I'm saying the Department of Justice.
Me because I'm telling the truth and I'm under oath. And if you want to put somebody else under oath and they have something different,
I know these staff members.
Respond.
Yeah, buddy. And to show you how dumb Jim Jordan is, besides him always sweating when he's lying, have you ever noticed, though, that he sweats so much? I mean, Jim Jordan is so sweaty that every time you're near him, you literally do need an umbrella. If you see the people are pulling out their people on the Capitol, pulling out their umbrellas right standing next to him, I swear to God, I looked at the app today and it said it wasn't going to rain. But every single time I stand by Jim Jordan, I'm soaked. And then there's Devin-Nunes, who's the same way. They literally have to put slippery floor signs everywhere he is when he's walking in the Capitol so people don't fall and start filing lawsuits. I mean, literally, Nunes and Jordan are the sweatiest people in Congress. And it's not Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio is not the sweatiest person in Congress. The sweatiest people in Congress are Nunes and Jordan. I keep on telling myself I'm not going to keep cracking on these people. I'm going to try to be serious all the time when I'm saying these things, but my goodness. And then you got Trey Gowdy, who is virtually in disguise. Trey Gowdy changes his appearance literally every single day. He's the guy who comes in some days. He's like, today I'll be Trey Gowdy. Tomorrow I'll be Trey Gowdy. Like, the dude, one day his hair is white, one day it's black, one day he cuts his beard off, one day he doesn't, and he grows it out. I mean, the guy is completely gone. He's literally checked out. I'm done with all of them. But anyway, I digress. But to tell you how dumb Jim Jordan is, he tries to clean up his humiliation by saying, I'm not asking you if you can subpoena phone calls. I'm just asking if you said it. Like, are you stupid? I just told you can't subpoena phone calls, so why would I say it? I'm going to tell you that I can do something that's non-existent. Does that even make any sense? But anyway, the sweaty bandits in Congress are likely guilty of something. No one affiliated or protecting Trump is innocent. And I will not be shocked when all of this is over if some people in Congress are in a lot of trouble. Mueller has expanded his Russia investigation. He's added more lawyers. And Manafort, 45343, is still in prison. Let me say that again. Manafort, 45343, is still in prison. Cohen is on the verge of flipping. Roger Stone is in deep shit. You've got all these indictments that are already out there and the guilty pleas. So when you see Democrats panicking, it's because Democrats panic. The law is separate and apart from politics. Trump cannot stop the onslaught that is coming, even with the Supreme Court. And I'll discuss that in a minute. Now look, the judge in the Cohen federal case has ordered that prosecutors start getting all the documents and recordings by this coming week. It's pretty much over for Cohen. He knows they have so much damaging evidence against him. He's left on an island alone. He's talking. Now in reference to the Supreme Court, I am going to let Chris Matthews lead this one off. Here it is.
Well, I don't think the Democrats should allow even meetings to occur with Trump's nominee to fill this vacancy by Justice Kennedy. I think they have to fight eye for an eye for what happened in 2016, where the Republicans led by Mitch McConnell refused to even consider or even meet with Merrick Garland. I think if the Democratic leadership under Schumer allows this to go forward, they're going to have a huge problem with the Democratic base. We saw Joe Crowley get beaten up in New York, up in Queens yesterday. You can tell that this leadership will be tottering on edge if they allow this to proceed. There's no way politically the Democratic base will stand for any kind of hearings or vote on a Trump nominee for the Supreme Court before the election. We've got an election in 4.5 months. There's no reason to consider a replacement on the Supreme Court in that time. No reason given the history of what happened. Let's watch McConnell now. I'm telling you, they have no right to bring this up after what they did in 2016.
Okay, let me just be abundantly clear. There isn't a thing that Chris Matthews said that I disagree with. This fight for the Supreme Court seat is one of the biggest political fights in a generation. Any person who is a Democrat in Congress that is complacent should consider their career over. So much is at stake: equality, women's rights, gay rights, abortion, affirmative action, criminal justice reform, education, voting rights, and very importantly, who will decide the fate of the fraud in the White House? Complacency is not an option. The pressure must be palpable. This issue, this can change the landscape of the U.S. for generations. This is the fight. And let me just say this. This is the fight of the ages. And there's something else I want to talk about when I come back from the break. I'll be right back.
Make a dawn in this. I'm feeling like $1 million. Cutting up just for the money. We like nip and tuck. Jet like Benny from the Sandlot. Cost 50,000 for my Hancock. Baby, riding to the top. Driving haters crazy, never gonna stop. I'm feeling like $1 million. Cutting up just for the money, we like nip and tuck. Wrist watch, tip top, pockets on a milli. Give a toast to all my people, we like dilly dilly. Pilot boys staying fly, Super Bowl like Philly. When they ask me if I'm fly, I'm like really, really. 3 steps ahead, staying on the move. Don't listen to the gossip, it's barely ever true. Don't matter what you say, just matters what you do. They criticize the dawn, I'm like, who the heck are you? I'm feeling like $1 million. Cutting up just for the money, we like nip and tuck. Jet like Benny from the Sandlot. Cost $50,000 for my Hancock.
All right, fabulous people. Okay, so I said I was going to put out a show on the crisis at the border, Trump regrets, but I was too sick to do much of anything last week. Further, I wanted to tell Trump sycophants who exactly they were dealing with before I start putting some more stuff out. However, I do intend to do those things nevertheless. That's one thing I definitely intend to do because there are things you guys do need to see. More importantly, I want to make clear what the exact argument is being made in defense of the children who are suffering serious trauma by being separated from their parents. Republicans, those who are still holding on to the Trump Titanic as it sinks into the abyss, want to argue that we are arguing for open borders, crime, and anti-American first policies. First, let me say, that's a lie. Not one rational person argues for more crime, nor do they want criminals entering the country. But let me just be clear. When did babies and children become the face of criminality? No, the face of criminality is a squatter in the White House. Now, making sure the borders are safe, not creating an arbitrary crisis like you do, requires honesty. But you aren't concerned about our borders. You don't give a damn about the borders being secure. You just want to keep those quote-unquote others out. You don't even know where the borders are. You inundate yourself with garbage from people like Alex Jones, Sean Hannity, Breitbart, and all the other quacks that feed you bullshit and you eat it without shame. This argument is about humanity. This is a morality argument. This is a defining moment. We're opposed to putting kids in what Laura Ingraham calls summer camps, and we call them concentration camps. By the way, Laura, I'll pay for your children to spend the summer with these kids in these fun, cozy camps. But I digress. We are opposed to the separation of children from their parents, and even more fervently opposed to putting babies in detention centers. I'm not going to let you toy with the narrative. It is American to oppose concentration camps. It is American to oppose abusing children. It is American not to lock up babies in detention centers. It is American to provide every person on U.S. soil due process rights, irrespective of whether they cross here illegally. Majority are being accused of misdemeanors. Name one person who loses their children for non-violent misdemeanor without due process. So don't lecture us about Americanism. Actually attend a lecture about the Constitution. Start with the 5th and 14th Amendment. It might interest you. And then rally around us to stop the squatter from his continuous abuse of the Constitution. Finally, I think John Legend basically summarized my sentiments in a rather less, shall I say, cordial way. And here it is.
She got fat shamed by
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry.
By Claudia Jordan. I mean, should we be personally attacking politicians even if they're on the other side of the
aisle? Ask me, should we be reuniting 2,000 kids with their family? Should we be reuniting? Yes, we should. I don't care about fucking Sarah Sanders.
Yes, sir.
Reunite the fucking kids with their families. And then we'll talk about Sarah Sanders and her fucking dinners.
Yeah, I hear that. Thank you for your time, sir. Have a good one.
I try to do a little bit more today because I'm going to try to keep it under 20 minutes as much as possible. But I try to do a little bit more today because, I couldn't do as much last week anyway because my throat was clearly gone. But anyway, I promise to just put the Trump regrets on my website, sylviaexpress.com on Monday. If I don't, you can put the scarlet letter on my forehead. I promise you that. And I promise to do that video next week about the kids and also the impact we are having on our own children by what we're doing, the barbarism at the border. And then, of course, before I go, I'd like to say something to Trumpers. How you like me now? Now, look, if you want to debate me on the issues, reach out to me like a person who has some home training. Otherwise, just absorb everything I say and recognize that I mean every single solitary word I said about the fraud imposter in the White House. Anyway, guys, have a good weekend. I will see you guys next weekend. I promise you this. You're having a better weekend than Trump. Have a good one.